So now we're going to talk about herbs. Any questions so far? Emotional outbursts? Anything? So one of the things that will be coming up when this mountain of snow melts are dandelions. I will encourage you not to spray them. I will encourage you not to put weed and feed on your lawn. I will encourage you to leave the dandelions. They're beautiful. They don't do anybody any harm. Green lawn is worse for the world than dandelions. That's number one. Number two, if anybody has tried to eliminate them manually out of their yard, they understand that they are very deep-rooted, so you're trying to dig them out, but the root breaks off. There's a reason. It's a deep taproot. It's one of those things that punch down into the earth, and they pull up minerals from the earth, store them in a root, and you can use them. They are great as bitters. They stimulate digestive juices. They help stimulate bile from the liver, the gallbladder, and the pancreas into digestion. And they also, the gastric juices in your stomach to help your food break down more efficiently at the beginning of digestion, because by the time it comes, this is going to be gross, so apologize early. We're going to have some disgusting terms. By the time it leaves you, it should not look like the way it came in you.
Bad comment.
I mean, with the exception of corn, because it goes out the way it came in. And I'm like, and also, who's not chewing this stuff? Like, if it comes out the way it went in, you are not chewing your food enough. However, you want to start that digestive process early. So you want to masticate your food as much as humanly possible. Once it gets to your stomach, you want those digestive juices to be breaking that stuff down quickly and then absorbing through the lining of the stomach, then through the colon and the large intestine and the small intestines to absorb every ounce of nutrients that you can get. Because, unfortunately, not everybody gardens the way I do, and not everybody gardens organically, and not everybody just does that stuff. They buy their food from the grocery store. And agree, disagree, I know the scientific facts. The food that you're buying in the grocery store, even if it's Whole Foods, is not as nutritiously dense. It's not as nutritiously dense as it was 40, 50 years ago. Our soils are depleted because we spray them, we don't restore them, we don't do the things with them. We're forcing more output out of the soil into the vegetables, into the food that we're producing, and therefore it's depleted. You're just not getting it. And we talked about this in the botanical nutrition class in a little more depth, so I'm not going to go into it here, but it's just that way. So dandelion root is one of those wonderful things where it digs down deep, pulls nutrients up, helps support digestion. It also has some helpful things outside of the digestive tract. Dandelion is really great for your kidneys. Absolutely amazing for your kidneys. I'm going to talk a little bit about the man in the back of the room who's quietly doing things. My husband was diagnosed about 8 years ago with stage 3B colon cancer. And he is cancer-free today and has been for a number of years. During that journey, he had an ostomy. And it was not a good one. I mean, it was far up in the jejunum. So there's the ileus, or the ileum, and then the jejunum. So it's very high up in the digestive tract. So the small intestine tends to take a lot of the nutrients out. The large intestine is where the salts and the water come out of your food. And so if you've bypassed that whole area, all of that water and everything that would normally go through your kidneys doesn't. So your creatine levels raise. The toxins that go into your kidneys raise up. To support that during that period of time, we gave him a couple of different herbs, and one of them is dandelion. So it's helped support those kidney levels at a healthy rate while we were waiting for his body to heal until we could actually reconnect his digestive system. And Dr. Leif still owes me $1. Because I bet his oncologist that his kidney numbers would return to normal once we did all of this, if I processed and did the things that I wanted to do to support him herbally, that when he was reconnected, that his kidney numbers would return to normal, and he disagreed with me. And so I bet him $1, and he never paid up. Now he lives in Texas somewhere, I think. So one day I will collect. But, so on top of being a great digestive botanical, dandelion root is really terrific for your kidneys, along with things like parsley. Parsley, also terrific for digestion. We're not going to talk about it today, but the little sprig of parsley on your plate, that they used to put on your plate when you went out to restaurants, was more than just for fresh breath. Although it accomplished that, it was to stimulate digestive juices to start your digestion early. Yes?
I have a question about the dandelion root. How do you best take that in? Pill form, tea? How do you?
Any way that you want. So I eat dandelions from the yard. Oh gosh, I take the leaves and I'll take the roots and clean them, chop them up, eat them in a salad.
Wow. Okay.
Because they're good. So think about a dandelion root like a parsnip. Same thing, essentially. It's a root. But yes, you can also do a tea. So that root that's been passed around here, since it is this is hard root, this may not be the best for a tea unless you're going to do it long term. Because the root is like that, and then it's somewhat further sifted and chopped. You see different versions of it. This may work when we talked about the different preparatory methods, something called a decoction. So the different methods, so teas and infusions are when you take a leaf, flower, or a soft or light stem, pour hot water or boiling water over them, let them infuse. That's an infusion. A decoction is when you put the botanicals in cold water in a pan and turn the heat up. You raise that up and you simmer it for 15, 20 minutes. So that is going to allow that dried root to rehydrate and then start extracting into the water. So doing an infusion or a hot water tea, you'd have cold water long before you would get anything out of it because of those roots being thicker. So a decoction is probably the best method for that. But you can take it in any way, shape, or form. You can also put that into your coffee grinder that is specifically designated for herbs. Don't put it in your coffee grinder. I have ones all over the house that are for different things, like some for tea, some for coffee, and some for herbs. You can powder that and make your own capsules. It's probably better if you do it that way. Because you can buy the gelatin capsules at the health food store, or the vegan option of capsules. You can get those both at the health food store, and I order mine on Amazon. And in fact, I was making a video, and in fact, on our YouTube channel, you've got a couple of videos where I've made capsules. And you basically powder the botanical, scoop it, put it in, and then you can store it for 6 months. So many, many ways to get it in. Burdock. This is something that if you don't tend to your yard very well, and I don't, grows wild here in the United States. It grows everywhere over at our garden, along with every other weed on the planet. We had this vision when we built Verdigris that we were going to do this, because we watched a lot of YouTube. It lies. All these regenerative farmers who said, oh yeah, we just put down 3 layers of cardboard and then we just planted right over it, and we've had this verdant, healthy garden ever since. They are liars, or they don't live where our garden is. Because we put down layers of cardboard and layers of cardboard and layers of cardboard, and the weeds over there said, thanks, and it ate them. It just ate them. And then every bed that we put on top of them just became overrun with all these weeds. So we are going through, and we're not doing the cardboard thing. We are doing some underlayments and things like that, but I know where that stuff is, so at some point I will lift it and take it out so it doesn't become part of the earth, but it is something that we have to have as a weed stop, because cardboard just isn't going to cut it. And burdock is one of those things that will just punch up through. Like that thin garden fabric that they sell you as a weed barrier, that is a joke. That is really expensive and a joke, because nothing, it doesn't stop anything, because the issue is it's trying to retard light, and it doesn't. Unless you get a thick membrane, it doesn't retard any light. It just, yeah, it's something for it to eat. So burdock root is something that, just like dandelion, it's a deep tap root. Pulls a lot of minerals up out from the earth, stores it in a very thick, meaty, juicy root. It is a terrific blood and liver cleanser. We won't be talking about another one here today. It's called milk thistle. It's also another one that is a blood cleanser. So it cleanses the liver, which is the big filter in your body. It filters sugar, it filters alcohol, it filters all of those things. It's important to keep it quite healthy. Also great for your skin. Consuming it helps hydrate the skin, gives you a lot of nutrients to keep your skin fresh and young. I mean, I'm 102. And like I said, it's a nutritive root. So it's one of those things that we will pass along here. This is another one that's a hard root. And feel free, I know people are like, oh, this is great. Open it, smell it, it's totally fine. Yes?
Is this another one that you can buy in a capsule, or that you can use as a tea, or how do you take this one?
It's a hard root too, so it's another one of those decoction herbs, or you can capsule it.
Okay.
I don't know if you can buy it.
Capsule?
I'm sorry?
I said, can you buy a capsule for that?
I don't know. I really don't. I don't think about those things because I don't buy them. I make them.
But there must be some way you can buy it in the store, but I was wondering how it would come. Would it be a powder?
Probably a capsule.
Oh, it would be a capsule.
I'm sure that if they sell it at a health food store, it's probably capsulized.
Okay.
Yeah, Amazon.
Oh, do they? Okay.
In a capsule?
Get a capsule in bottles, there you go.
The only thing
Not saying it's good, not recommending it.
No. Here's the thing. If it's a way for you to get it and it's something that's accessible for you, I am not going to complain about it. I always will say, first and foremost, try to do it yourself, because you're going to get better quality control. And I don't know what's in the factory that processes the burdock root. I don't know if they just swept up the stuff from the floor and put it in a capsule. I know I've dug this out of my yard, stuck it in my dehydrator, powdered it, and put it in a capsule if I'm going to take it, or chunked it up and dried it and put it into a tea. But again, that's not everybody's world. I am very privileged in the fact that I can do that. So
I have a question. So now with all of these, like the, I'm assuming like the leaves have a different benefit than the root too.
they do, and the burdock leaves are, I have tried to eat them, I don't like them. And it's not because they're not tasty, because they are bitter. They're a bitter herb. It's a texture thing. They're very picky. They're not like picky like a nettle, where they sting you, but they do have a hairy texture to them. Not enjoyable. But I have literally, if it's something that's grown in my yard, I've probably eaten it, just because, research purposes. So here's something that grows quite wild in some places. Yes.
One last question.
Absolutely.
It's not, there's no part of the plant that's toxic, is there?
Not in the burdock.
Okay.
I've never seen a burdock flower, so I don't know. But we'd have to do a little more research on that one to see if there's some counterindications. I think it's unpleasant. That's what I would go with as far as burdock is concerned. But I don't believe it is toxic.
Not even cooked, whether you cook.
I've never cooked it, so I don't know.
I have. It's like spinach.
Is it?
Yeah.
Does it get rid of that texture?
No, you get rid of all the hairy stuff by cooking it like spinach.
Okay.
In water or in a little bit of fat and
Okay, good. Because
it's
No.
it's not delightful.
but is spinach delightful?
Add it to other stuff.
Yeah.
That's why you
Like
put
kale.
bacon grease on.
That's right. That's what he said. Cook it in bacon grease. Everything tastes good then. Because spinach, I find that it has its moments too of being bitter. So yeah, if it helps there, great. Nettle, very much in the UK, more so than here, and I think it's because of the way the Gulf Stream is that the UK is wetter. We grow nettles and they grow wild, and I have threatened, back when we used to do Halloween at our house, I threatened to put like a ring of nettles around my property so that all the children that ran through my yard to get to the candy, instead of coming up my sidewalk, would go through the nettles and get stuck.
That's how you learn to ride a bike in England.
Thank you. They
Because
have
if you
to,
fall off,
I
you're
know,
gonna fall into
they're
it.
children, but they need to learn consequences. And their parents need to train them. So, I said what I said. You can tell I don't have kids. I helped raise children, and they got raised in that tough love. I was raised by my grandparents. So, my grandparents got married and started their family during like the 20s and the Depression. So, they raised some children, and then they raised their grandchildren even harder. Because they were like, clearly we didn't do enough of a job there, so let's make these extra stuff. So there are consequences for everything. So the world is somewhat consequence-free now for most children, and I am not going to debate whether that's good or bad. But I have an opinion about it. All right, so aside from stinging, nettles are one of the first things that come up in the spring. So we talk about the seasonality of things. We're not going to talk about it here, but also there's a vegetable or green called sorrel. And not the red kind with the red veins, because that's gross. That tastes like mud. But green sorrel tastes lemony and bright. Nettles taste lemony and bright. And nettles are one of the first things that come up in the spring, and when your body is depleted from the minerals and the vitamin C and the things like that throughout the winter, this is the most welcome thing that your body can get. Aside from the sting, you do have to cook them, or you have to dry them, or they will sting. They are mineral rich, they're high in vitamin C. If you can get them fresh, you can cook them into a soup. You can cook them like spinach. But you can also cook them dried. That way you can rehydrate them and make them into soups along with potatoes and leeks and things like that. So you're using up your stored winter veg and adding something to them. They are, again, mineral rich. They also help support healthy creatine levels in your kidneys. So they help support them. They help reduce the possibility of kidney stones. It's the right minerals, not the wrong ones. And someone who's had kidney stones on multiple occasions knows how painful and awful they are. And because they are full of vitamin C and vitamin A and all the fun things that go along with the spring, they create energy for you in a natural way that you don't have to overstimulate yourself. And natural vitality. And energy and vitality are completely different things. Energy is you have the go, go, go. Vitality has you the sustainability to keep that energy going. So you feel good as well as get to go faster. Any questions about nettles?